I think it was timing was kind of an obstacle, because at the time that we started hearing from the Lord about this, I was still working a full-time job, and it was pretty demanding and pretty physical, so I was pretty tired at the end of every day. But I think that was kind of an excuse that I leaned on if that makes any sense, to not start our own church.
Even though we were being led.
Yeah.
We were being called. We were still being called, you know.
Just trying to figure out, how would we do this? And then actually my position disappeared. My position from my job disappeared. They subcontracted it out. So all of a sudden I had some free time on my hands.
All of a sudden his job was no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, here we go. This is the perfect time to really pursue what the Lord has put on our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
First one was, I think, the location. Like, where do we actually do a church plant? Are we going to do it in our house? Are we going to go to a school? That's kind of difficult. So we really just prayed about it, and that's something that the Lord really came through, and He opened a door, and just kind of out of nowhere. And I feel like that's how the Lord does things sometimes, where it just kind of falls into your lap. And I was out there like calling everybody, like, can we have a service? Can we meet here? And no. And all of a sudden, where we weren't even asking for it just showed up. So the Lord really provided for that one.
Wow, what obstacle didn't we face? When we started to plant the church, well, for one, we were down in Florida, and I didn't think I was going to be called to plant a church. So we had just finished remodeling a house, did a big project on it. So we're like, okay, what do we do now? And the market at the time was down in Florida. So we actually had to get our house for sale right away that we had just finished, thinking we were going to stay there for a long time. And long story short, God provided in everything. He in a down market, we sold our house in 1 week for top dollar. So I knew that He wanted us to come up here to Bristol, and He just continued to open doors.
Okay, so the Rock was instrumental in helping me and my family to prepare for planting the church. So we went through what is called the School of Ministry, which was one of the most amazing things that's ever happened to me in my life. And so the pastors of our church have an in-depth discipleship program which trains people up for the ministry that God has called them to. And when I went into that training program, I found out very quickly that the Lord had called me and gifted me to teach and to preach, and I caught this fire for church planting that was already built up within the elders and the pastors of our church. And so we were trained in how to get ready for church planting, what we have to do to prepare for all of the unseen things. We got to see everything on the back end. I was put into ministry to the youth, and I pastored the youth group for a few years before moving and going off into this church plant. And then we also learned the anatomy of a sermon. We learned the heart of a shepherd. We learned all of these very important things on how to be a good soldier for Jesus Christ, to get prepared for the mission of church planting. And so I would say we were about roughly 3 years of training before we moved out here to do this.
Started out several years ago going through the School of Ministry, or the discipleship program, and it was just a wonderful program to really start digging in the Bible and learning how to convey the Bible to other people. So I think that was probably the biggest help. Although he's been awesome all the way through this whole process. Any questions that we have, there's always, your thought is, yes, I'm going to go out and I'm going to serve, and I'm going to share the gospel message with people in the community and preach the word. But then there's all these other things that come along with having a small church. You have to become a nonprofit, get your 501c3, and all these other things that pop up that you weren't really thinking of in the very beginning. So Aaron's been wonderful with that, to walk us through that step by step and help us where we need help. And he's certainly been an encourager for us too.
For me personally, meeting with Pastor Aaron before we planted was really helpful. Before we went out, Pastor Aaron met with me, I think probably for 6 months, every single week. We went and got lunch on Tuesdays and just got the nitty gritty of what it's like to pastor a church, one-on-one, firsthand. And I served on staff for a little bit and got to come to the staff meetings. So just kind of, soaking it all in, kind of on the job training, if you could say. So that was really helpful.
Yeah.
As far as the Rock supporting us, man, Pastor Aaron has been fantastic. Like I said, we get here, we had no idea what to do, basically. But you think about, teaching the Bible, wonderful. Getting together, wonderful. But then comes all the other parts of planning a church, the practical things, like I guess even part of the church service. For example, since we do have this place, we do have equipment we got to set up, we got to tear down, that type of stuff. Who's going to do the board? Who knows how to do the board? And thankfully, Pastor Aaron was able to send someone to help us. Pastor Chris over there, he came by. He just happened to know that board. Happened to be the same board he worked on. They worked on it. The other huge help was the whole accounting side of the church, which was, again, what do you do? How do you do it? What are we supposed to do? What are we not supposed to do? And, those things are, especially internet, you can find them out, but to have the experience that they gave to us, particularly Tammy Hole, fantastic. She walked alongside my wife and, taught her what to do, how to do it. And I mean, even to this day, we have Pastor Aaron and Tammy. I could give them a call and they'll be like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what's next. So having that resource, and that's what it is, it's a brotherly, godly resource that could walk alongside you and help you plant, for the kingdom of God.
Okay. Well, after we had just graduated second semester of school of ministry, and I know Pastor Aaron, if you show a calling to, or you show that you've been called to go somewhere, we'll actually go and do a vision tour. And this is when we came up, we actually flew up to the Bristol, Tennessee area and looked around, because that was where God was calling us to plant this church here in Bristol. And we actually came up here for about 3 days and scoped out the area, prayed about everything. We were blessed finding this beautiful old Presbyterian church to use, and then went and just prayed about it to make sure to confirm that it was really God's plan. But then after that, the Rock was very, very helpful. They through offerings from many of the congregants there, we were able to get the sound system that we have right now, the Bose sound system, and some other gear, as well as a little bit of extra cash just to be able to use for moving expenses and getting us up here. So they really helped. And then Pastor Aaron is always there every week. I can call him up, or whenever really, or any of the other pastors. I can pretty much call them if I have any questions or concerns. And definitely earlier on, I did a lot, and I still do right now. And they're always there for you, and they're giving you guidance and learning from the School of Hard Knocks, because they've been there already before.
Okay, yeah, so we were sent by the Rock Calvary Chapel right there in Port Charlotte, Florida. And when we were sent, we were supported because a lot of the people in our church gathered together, made an offering for us when they sent us out. They laid hands on us for the ministry, sent us up to northern Kentucky where the Lord has called us. And then we still have people from our congregation, our home church in Port Charlotte, who are gifting us and giving to us on a monthly basis to help support us while we're here. But the most important way that the Rock has supported us in this church plant is that they're here for us. They're encouraging us. Our congregation back home is constantly praying for us and encouraging us. My pastors back home are constantly talking to us, praying for us, and helping us with anything that we need. And again, the most important thing I believe is that encouragement, that our pastors saw something in us, saw the ministry the Lord had for us, and then encouraged us to fulfill that ministry out.